Hi, everyone. It's so lovely to be here today. My name is Lisa Byfield. I'm from Worldwide Awake Business Network, and I'm joined by my co-host, Leanne Jones, and my other co-host, Aaron Malloy, and our very special guest, Maggie Ciobanu. Welcome, Maggie. Did I pronounce that correctly?
I feel like we should do this.
Yeah. Welcome her in. And did I pronounce that correctly?
Ciobanu, yes.
Oh, Ciobanu.
Ciobanu.
Yep. Oh, yeah, it needs an accent.
Ciobanu. Yes, it's very European.
I like it.
So, Maggie, I was so happy when Leanne invited you in today because our hot topic is social media bans for children. Mm-hmm. And we couldn't have thought of a better person to come in and talk about this subject, because you are actually extremely passionate. You've been winning a lot of awards over the last couple of years, and your business is very, very new as well, isn't it?
It is, yes. It's a startup business in WA. And, when I first started this journey back at the end of 2021, when I actually released the prototype, the journey that I've been on, like I could never have imagined to where I was to where I am now. The awards have been fantastic, but it's taken so much, things such as learning how to pitch and pitching for business, for the business. When I entered into this, I didn't know those things.
So let's just roll back a little bit here, Maggie, because a lot of people won't know what it is that you actually do.
Yep.
So the name of your business is Yoochooz.
Yes.
And the purpose of your business?
Yep. So basically, when my daughter was bullied at the age of 12, she was body shamed. The profanity that came from these social media platforms, was so bad that I couldn't just stand back and do nothing. And so I knew that these kids needed a moment to stop and pause and really think about the words that they use online. So I developed an app called Yoochooz because we want them to make the right choices in life, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
And that's basically started from 2021 until now.
So did you have any idea what that was going to look like 3 years later?
When I started it, I knew that I had to employ someone to code the app, because obviously I don't come from a coding background. My background is actually finance.
Oh, so similar.
Totally different.
Yeah.
But when I started it, the coding process, I've learned a lot about programming and the terminologies. I've actually had to. So,
necessity, let's face it.
It's true. It was a necessity to understand, but I'm learning as I go along so many things as well. The startup world, especially when it comes to tech, when it comes to protecting children, it's so evolving, it's growing, and really getting the business established has been, quite difficult, to be honest.
Imagine.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, you've established a business and you've thought of a product that's needed, right?
Absolutely.
So many people out there, they want a business, okay,
yes.
or they're focused that kind of way. And if there isn't a need for it, well, it doesn't go very far.
Yep.
You've actually gone in for something that's unbelievably important. I mean, forgetting about the business side for a moment, just for society, bullying is a massive problem. It is horrendous. And with, obviously, the internet, with the electronics, with the ways, all the ways that kids can now bully each other, it's... I mean, you used to be able to go home. And adults. Yes, very, very true. We might need an app for us as well. Who knows? But kids used to be able to go home.
Yes.
Okay? And they could have been their sanctuary, or they could be at a friend's place. But kids had somewhere to go.
Yes.
Now kids don't.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All the time, 124 hours a day.
It's constant.
And if you don't have parents that are vigilant,
that's right,
taking that technology away from them, especially the younger ones, the tweens, so to speak.
Yep.
Then and because it's really hard to do something like that as well, to take that sort of technology away from them once they've had it. So to have something that actually like what you've created is just phenomenal, and I've been one of your biggest fans since I've known about it. And I think, if I had children, that would be the go. That would be my go-to.
They're a bit big now.
Yeah, but they're not going to want me to, intervene.
You don't want to see what they're looking at on the internet.
No, they're much bigger than me.
Look, they really do need our help. As parents, we really do need to step up, and it hasn't been a fault of our own. We have ourselves been landed into this technology world. We've been given these devices, and when you go on social media, on platforms, I see the comments, and we're adults and we're making these huge errors, because we were never guided in a way right from the beginning. We were just we hide behind the keyboard, but our children more so, we're actually giving iPads. I think the youngest that I've heard of is around 2 years old. It could be even
sadly, I've heard younger than that.
Really? Yeah.
So,
so they're used to this technology, but if we're going to do it, and obviously this is the way the world is going to go, we need a balance.
Yeah, one of the things I really like that you said, Maggie, is that you were very thoughtful with the way you said we need to guide them to think first. So you've really accepted the fact that humans can be quite nasty and that you want to give them the opportunity. And I guess for all of us at some stages when we're angry, it would be nice to be able to have the opportunity to kind of say something and kind of have a hang up there and think, do I really want to say that? I'm sure we've all been guilty, or whatever word, of writing a message.
Yep.
I did one yesterday with a voicemail. I was very angry.
Right.
And then I deleted it straight away.
Yeah.
And it was very hurtful, Lisa. It really was.
Oh, did you listen, Aaron? Oh, no.
You know what we need? We need breathalyzers on our phones. Okay, before we send that text, you need to do that.
Maggie, how does this Yoochooz app detect things that may be harmful to other kids? If they, so say you've got, do a scenario. You've got a 12-year-old talking to another 12-year-old, and they say, you know what, I don't like you. You're fat.
Yep.
Right? Because come on.
That's what they do.
Yep.
Right?
I think that's how
does your technology pick that up? What does it do? Does it flag a word? What does it do?
Yeah, so we know Australian parents don't want to be the helicopter parents, and I wanted to create something that's not too intrusive. We don't want it to normal everyday conversations.
Sure.
So what we want flagged is anything that is deemed as potentially risky or inappropriate.
Okay.
So what I've recreated is an exact duplicate of the keyboard that's on your devices. It looks exactly the same.
Right.
You can't tell the difference. And we replace the keyboard on your child's devices with the Yoochooz keyboard.
Oh, that's clever.
Yes.
I like that.
But what we have on top of that is an inbuilt profanity list of about 200 words that they're saying that could be deemed as risky. For example, fat, ugly, all the profanity words that you can think of in codes. But on top of this, the parent is able to add to the list anything that they choose. And what I've found from my own personal experience, because I've got twins that are 13, is you put in personal details such as age, interests, hobbies, schools. I mean, you can put in anything personal. And for example, when my 13-year-old said to someone, I'm 12 years old, pops up an alert.
Right.
It says, are you sure you want to send this? He's felt comfortable enough knowing that I'm going to get that message, said yes, because you have the option to choose yes or no.
Okay.
When I saw the message, he said to someone, I'm 12 years old. Immediately alarm bells started ringing going, I need to know who he's speaking to. I need to know, is this a person on the other side of the world pretending to be a child? Sure. But it's opened up this level of communication that we should be having these conversations with our kids as early as possible. You're installing this app. I'm guiding you in the right direction. If there's something on there that's flagged, but, you're not saying any profanity and you still decide to hit yes, and we can just talk about those things. It doesn't have to be closed behind doors and, oh, my gosh, I don't want mum.
But you don't see everything, do you, Maggie?
No, only the things that are deemed risky.
People need privacy. Even kids, right?
Yeah,
it is important. Let them grow.
Yeah.
But protect.
But let them make the right choice.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And I love that. It empowers the child, right? Because I mean, this is the thing you mentioned before. You said about parents these days don't want to be helicopter parents.
Yes, correct.
Most are.
Yeah.
Okay, most are shocking helicopter
Do
parents.
you think so?
Yeah, I think parenting these days is off the charts bad.
Well, Maggie actually
that's
made
a
the
problem.
point, and she said Australian parents, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Aaron, because I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Are Australian parents less?
Yeah.
Like tell us the stats.
They're less likely to want to be the helicopter parents. So when it comes to parental control apps, and every time I've spoken to parents, they don't like parental control apps that are out there that have been developed in America more so, because that monitors a lot of conversations, things that they don't want to know about, because they want to give that level of privacy to some point, but just be there and guiding them. And that's what I've created with this app. Like, the way I kind of see it is where a guardian angel sitting on their shoulders, just sort of nudging them in the right direction, going,
I like that.
Which way are you going to choose? And that's the thing in life. Like, which way do we choose?
Oh, look, if I had the little devil and the little angel on my shoulder.
Yeah.
I reckon that angel fell off a few times.
Oh, just once or twice. There's a rope that's trying to bring itself back up. Yeah, so true. I mean, I'm really interested in that. I really am. We've had a question come through, and we'll speak to that person in just a moment. But look, okay, I have really noticed, certainly with my kids going through school, that the helicopter parenting was off the charts. It was terrible, right? So I wonder how much of what people say and what they do, how different it is. I think that also Australians, we like to talk things down a little bit, so perhaps we'd get an element of that. But I do really appreciate it, and I think it's a wonderful thing. I'm so glad that you've got a product like this, because American products won't always work for Australians.
Yes.
We are different. We are culturally very different, right? So, and I want...
But I see this going worldwide.
Oh, no doubt about it. Absolutely.
That's
completely
something
agree.
that really needs... And if we... Just a little side note on that, we have this ridiculous man popping in, banning children from stuff at 16...
Oh,
right, until they're 16 years of age. What sort of signals is that sending out to our kids that they're
Leanne, I'm going to jump straight in on that. I'm going to.
I know, because that's why I opened up the can.
Oh, you did? Here we go. Because that man, Anthony Albanese, the worst Prime Minister in the history of this country, and even worse than Gillard, which is, that's a
pretty bad.
Low bar. Okay. This man is about control. It has got nothing to do with protecting our children. It has everything to do with controlling us. This is just an electronic way of an electronic ID. That's what it is for all Australians, no matter what your age is, whether you are 6 or 65. This is what this is. It's a Trojan horse. It's a lie. And I mean, obviously Albanese has a great habit of lying. I don't believe he actually knows how to speak the truth, but I get very, and you can hear the passion coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Because I get very annoyed at this, because I want to protect our kids. This is massively important. And I would...
So what do you disagree with? Can you please explain?
I disagree with a digital ID.
Yeah.
Whether you are a newborn baby or you're 95, a digital ID is a very, very bad idea. It has so many problems. It is just opening up that Pandora's box.
It's really hard to get away from the digital ID these days.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
If you have a company.
Yep. I know.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm not enjoying this.
If you have a life.
Yeah, exactly right. And
if you want to get any amount of services from Centrelink.
Oh, geez. How would you do that?
How would you do that without digital ID?
Yeah.
But what really, really gets up my goat is we have solutions, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Solutions.
here.
Yeah.
Why not take these innovative Australian ideas and, as a government, embrace them?
Why would you do that when you can basically money launder through, Ukraine or Norway or whatever? You could build some wind turbines and launder money that way or whatever. Why would you possibly support a wonderful Australian doing great work in protecting children.
Protecting
Why
children.
would you possibly do the thing that's actually needed? Children are our future, and like you've got, look, these are the generations X one and the ones after that and the ones after that. If you don't protect them and not wrap them in cotton wool, right? I mean, I'm Gen X, so I am generation rub some dirt in it, you'll get over it, right? So I want kids a little bit.
But we still had rules, right? We still had to, if the lights are on, come home.
We were coming home,
right?
Yes.
So make the wrong choice.
Yes,
we're going to step in.
I love that, and creating consequences very important. But I love the fact that yours is it's empowering kids, it's empowering adults, and it's not treating children like they're babies.
Yes, that's right. Look, they're going to come a time, like even with these bans, they're going to hit 16. And we are going to be chasing our tails on the same subject, because if you limit the access, they are going to be facing the same challenges at 16, 17. The sextortion is real just as at 17.
What is real?
Sextortion.
What does that mean?
Oh, okay. Yep. I should actually explain. So there's a lot of crime that's happening from other countries targeting Australians, US. It's going global, where it's organised crime targeting our children, where they're pretending to be, for example, a female, and, targeting teenagers, where they're asking for sexual pics eventually, and they obtain these sexual images of that child, and then they blackmail them into giving them money. Otherwise, they will distribute the photos to the people they love.
There was a young boy who committed suicide not that long ago that I read about. He was a 16-year-old or something like that.
That's
and he committed suicide because they did that sextortion on him.
Wow.
And his dad said, if only they had, if only he'd been able to actually come to me.
If only he knew.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go, and again, I don't want to sit here and just bag out the government, but I'm going to.
Why not? You normally do.
I never pretend. I don't hide my politics. I think that the Australian Labor Party are the most destructive party. They're socialists, and they damage the fabric of society. They damage family. Okay, and family is the foundation of society. It's the most important thing, right? So if you damage family, I've got no interest in you whatsoever. So, okay, I know this for a fact. I know that schools, and we certainly had this over the last sort of 8 years predominantly, 8-9 years, with this ridiculous woke culture and this sexualising of children, and the schools are involved in the sexualising of children.
Oh, don't get Maggie started on that.
Yeah, this is a big thing, right? So, like, school counsellors right now are, and I can't speak for all of them, so I will generalise because I do have examples here, right? Genuine examples. Many of them are just good old-fashioned groomers. They used to hide out in the Scouts or the Brownies or the this and that. And I'm not casting aspersions.
You're not going to have a go at the Brownies, are you?
I know. The motives of the Brownies, I was concerned.
Or the Scouts, you'll have Wayne in here.
Yeah, absolutely. But in organisations where you had some very evil people who would get into this. Catholic Church is the greatest example, right? Grew up in Catholic Church, ran like hell. But it's, there's these bad people. Now, the bad people have gone elsewhere. And unfortunately, some of them have ended up in schools as counsellors, right? And are teaching sexuality and pushing sexuality in schools. So this is like, as a parent, you should be a parent. You're not there to be your child's friend. You love your child and you want to have a level of friendship, but you have to be a parent first. And as a parent first, this is it's imperative that you are the person in charge of as much as you can in a modern world of the sexual growth of your child.
Just before you pass over to Maggie, I just want to make the point. So often I hear people say the government, the schools, there's a lot of generalisation there. And Maggie, I'm going to be really interested to hear the response that you've had from the schools. Because at the end of the day, the schools are made up of human beings, thinking, intelligent adults that are employees.
That's quite an assumption.
But hang on a minute, my daughter's a school teacher. But what I find really interesting, and for want of a better phrase, I'm going to say herd mentality, and we saw a lot of this through COVID as well, that a lot of people just don't think for themselves, and a lot of people are just happy to accept that paycheck each week. Because when we say the school, we're talking about people that actually have a lot of empowerment if they chose to. So anyway, with that, I just wanted to share that.
Just that herd mentality, that goes for that as well, following what is fashionable, and I call it fashionable because it's not, it doesn't make sense nor rhyme nor reason. What is fashionable? Like, you know, and I know a feeling Maggie might be going to talk about this, but it's like we have a Pride Day, not a Pride Week, or we have a...
No, we have a Pride Week. And we don't have an Australia Day.
Australia Day, yeah, sorry. But I mean, at a school, like not just here, like not just for adults.
Sure.
Why does that have to be brought into our schools, into the school system?
It's an important part of the grooming process.
Should we let our guest speak?
I think so. I think so.
Maggie.
Yes, that's okay.
We're just all going,
No, look, I've got twins that are 13, and for quite some time as a parent, I have been quite concerned and expressed my concerns even to the school and to the Department of Education directly at the fact that so much discussion around sexuality has been addressed to the point that it actually makes my children feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They said to me personally, they just want to be left alone. They just want to be kids doing kid things, you know, teenagers growing up. They shouldn't have access to books. And actually, I've seen this, things like how to have anal sex at young age.
Yeah, you'll find this in your libraries at school.
Yep. It makes them uncomfortable. This is my children have expressed to me. They feel that the discussions is not just, you know, let's say in the learning environment anymore. The kids are talking about it constantly. Then they go see things on social media. So it's just bombarding them so much. And they said, we just want to be left alone.
And I thoroughly agree with you. And sort of, I don't know if you're aware, but the education system and certainly the West Australian Education Department, have utter contempt for parents in this state, utter contempt, to the point where I've actually seen demonstrations. And when you go to the Education Department here in WA, it's kind of a quadrangle sort of thing, a big U where a lot of people can walk inside. And security won't actually let parents go inside. And if we've actually had a situation where parents were actually protesting about some disgusting things that were going on at schools, right? And they walked into the quadrangle, and all of the staff, now I shouldn't say all, a considerable amount of the staff from the Education Department, the people we pay their wages, they are there to put together all the formats, all the programs to educate our children. Guess what these people were doing? Grown adults. They were standing at the windows, sticking their middle finger up at us. Not one or two, substantial numbers of these people who are supposed to be educators, who are supposed to be people who have children's welfare first and foremost, and they have complete contempt and disgust for parents.
It does not sound like a very good way of communicating.
I saw this with my own eyes, okay? Yeah. I've also seen the fact that I've seen teachers at a particular school literally condone, and effectively a roundabout way really allow and almost promote the fact that a 12-year-old girl was watching pornography at school.
Yeah.
Okay?
Wow.
Okay, effectively allow it to happen. All right, I've seen that with my own eyes. I've got a particular friend whose daughter has transitioned on the advice of the school counsellor, right? This child, she's still a child, and she's had her breasts removed and all that sort of thing. She will never be able to have children. They've ruined her life, okay? And this child will probably grow to regret this, okay? Now, I don't, I'm living.
I kind of feel like we've gone off on another tangent.
No, but I think this is important because I tell you what I love about your product, right? Is this is heading it off at the pass. I think if you get in early and you can set these boundaries early, okay, because kids aren't stupid, and things like this will actually allow them to take control of their own lives and go in the right direction.
So what response have you had, Maggie? That's what I'd love to know.
Yeah.
So when I first did the trial where I needed parents to test, I had a huge influx of names and, contact details, and everyone was commenting on what a great idea and putting their details down. Then it came to the point where it actually was in testing, and I'd get feedback such as, my child doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. So we've become friends of our children more so than, you know, like I'm the parent and look, I'm giving you a device. But I really want to stress on how important it is that we explain to the child, I trust you. But if something comes, talk to me and open up that level of communication, because the problem is when they hide things, you know, discussions, and when they feel fearful about something, that's when the problems come. So if they can communicate and you can have that level of communication, for example, my son came up to me and he said, Mum, I know you're going to see this on the app, so I better tell you. And I hadn't even checked it at that stage. Right. And so we sat down and he goes, you're going to see that I said, leave my sister alone, because I do have that as flagged as a warning. Okay. And he felt comfortable enough. He said yes. Yep. And he was in a social media group. They just started high school, year 7, and someone was bullying his twin sister in this group. Where they had taken a photo of her where she was adjusting her nose ring and it looked like she was picking her nose. So they were, you know, bullying her on this page with a photo. And he said, leave my sister alone. Now, he felt comfortable enough to send that message. We spoke about it. I now know there's something going on. It's year 7. They're just starting high school, so they're finding their way around friends. Sure. I was able to address it with the school straight away that an unauthorised photo was taken of his sister and that some bullying is happening. I would not have known. No. If that app that I created.
And that could have created some lasting negative consequences for both children.
Absolutely. It's that, you know, feel comfortable enough to come to me, you know, we will deal with this together. And, you know, where it's at, the app being version 1 release, it's fabulous. And we can just build from that. Like the next versions that we intend to release, they're actually going to pick up everything, even code names before we input it into the system.
So will it pick up what other people are sending to your child? Yep. If they're being groomed, for instance, because that's a big thing.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the laws forbid us to monitor third-party conversations without the consent of the third party. Eventually, we are looking into ways to obtain that consent so that we can get around the situation.
Well, I might be able to help you on that because I know a little bit about the Surveillance Act.
Oh, fantastic.
So you will often get lied to by politicians and lawyers about the Surveillance Act, and they'll often talk about the Communications Act rather than the Surveillance Act, which is what that falls under.
Yes.
Right. And now, I can't remember this verbatim, sorry. I'm on the spot here, but okay. There are 3 exceptions when you can record without someone's permission. You don't have to ask, okay? They don't have to, approve of it. Yeah. So 3 occasions are if it's something of that there's an immediate risk to someone's safety.
Right.
Okay. If it's got something to do with the public safety, like public knowledge that should be out in public forum, I guess.
Yeah.
And in the protection of a child.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Now that's under the Surveillance Act. Now that sort of app fits under the Surveillance Act, not the Communications Act. And lawyers who don't know what they're talking about or who'd like to fleece you for money will tell you that. Will tell you it's under communications.
Yeah.
The politician will do the same because that's one of the techniques they use to divert.
Okay.
But know your legislation. And that the 3 exceptions, you're covered by all 3, quite frankly. And certainly when it comes to the child one, which is fundamentally supposed to be the most important one.
Yeah, and that's what I would have thought, that being an app targeting children, you would have a lot more leeway with what you are able to pick up.
I think less, to be honest. But there you go.
No, I thought you may have been. Okay. Well, I thought that was my thinking because they are an underage minority, like they're underage. They fall. Yeah, I would have thought you would have been able to do a lot more.
Oh, look, I thoroughly agree. I'll just take one quick little section, a moment rather, to talk to Sophia there. How can you collaborate with Edge Radio? You can just jump on the old email, send us an email, info@edgeradioaustralia.com, info@edgeradioaustralia.com, or we get onto the Edge Radio site, boom, get a little contact, away we go. Very, very easy because, we love obviously speaking to everybody. This is a free speech format. So if we can help at all, absolutely. And look at this great opportunity we've got right now to talk about something so important. You're not going to see this in the mainstream. Let's be absolutely honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you approached the schools, Maggie, the education department?
Yes, I have contacted the education department when I was at Prototype and on multiple occasions. The chief psychologist at the time, they seemed to be, very adaptable to understanding it and said, we'll liaise with other, departments. And then I got stuck in red tape going, we can't support you, you're not government. And it's just been, the response was contact the Catholic associations and the principals associations, which I have. And in every aspect, it's you're not government, we can't support you. Then I contacted the eSafety and I have had discussions with eSafety preventions team. And when I explained the app, they go, oh, look, we will call another meeting. They were very interested. And then, a couple of weeks had passed where I followed up the meeting and they said, sorry, you're a business. We can't support you. And it's like, but you could work with me and we could actually make this even better than where it's at because we know how to do this. And
Maggie, I've got an idea. Look, I did a show about an hour or so ago with a great man, Jeff Bowman, who he hooks people up, links people with different organisations that can help. Yep. And he has got a contact with a crowdfunding organisation. Now, we've all heard of that.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's actually one now that basically will do crowdfunding across the world.
I was thinking about that the
I
other
can't
night.
think of a more deserving product. Kids are all around the world. Yeah. There are parents around the world who want to protect their kids.
Yep.
That might be a really good way of sourcing. Because, look, the government is a nightmare to deal with, as we know. And yes, unless you're a not-for-profit, when I always want to invert my commas on that one, unless you're in the government structure, it's very, very hard for a private business to get funding. So this is something that really needs some help. And I think that
I was at Jeff's talk the other night and I wrote that in my book. I went, crowdfunding, Maggie.
There you go.
Awesome.
Great minds. Look at that. It's
so good.
So that was going to be my conversation with her after the show, but you brought it up now. So it's okay, Jeff.
That's it.
Just so you know.
That's it. Crowdfunding.
But it's about bringing great people together.
Oh, absolutely.
And especially with ideas like this. So,
because you would have gone through a lot of challenges setting up Yoochooz. A lot of your own personal, not only time and energy, but personal money towards the app.
Yes. Life savings. So that's really significant. When have you had any other investors? No. So when you discuss with investors, sometimes they only invest in you unless you've reached a certain milestone. So I'm not quite at that milestone. Then you're speaking to other investors and you're too far along. So I'm kind of sitting in between where, I'd love investment and the right investors. This is an opportunity where investors can really, really make a difference.
Just had a really good thought about Shark Tank.
I'm thinking exactly that. You stole that from my head too. Look at that. No, honestly, we'll just grab a little snippet of this video, send it off to Shark Tank, and away we go. Yeah. But it's an important subject. It really is. This is not about...
you haven't even been able to get grants.
No.
Yes, I've applied for WA grants because I am from WA and I was hoping to get the support, and on each occasion I just keep getting refused, and the question is why? Well,
you need to go to the Ministry of Silly Walks, okay?
Yeah.
You need to go and ask for money for something utterly ridiculous, right?
Sounds like
that seems to be the guy. And I know I'm being very cynical here, but it does annoy me. There's so many important causes out there, businesses that will make a difference to society.
Yeah.
And as West Australians, I want to be very, parochial. I want to look after another West Aussie, another Aussie. I want this product to get out there and actually help kids. And I've seen the damage. I really have firsthand, without going into the details, I've seen some horrific damage done to children.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that the adults that allow this to happen are child abusers. That's my opinion, okay? Because we know kids can be cruel. We know that technology allows them, gives that extra, well, quite frankly, incentive a lot of the time because you can do it. Oh, I mean, you get a real tough guy from behind a keyboard. I certainly know a few tough guys behind keyboards that wouldn't say anything to your face, let's face it. Yeah. Back in the old days, I mean, okay, if somebody came up to me and wanted to bully me in a schoolyard, he would have to deal with me because he's going to stand in front. It's going to be he's going to have a second thought about what might happen. Whereas if you're just typing away or you're taking a picture, you've protected yourself, and that's what weak people do.
Yeah.
See, Maggie, what really we've had a lot of conversations over the last few years, but what really interested me was that not even those that are in the bully realm of companies, you know, that are addressing bullying with children, you haven't even been able to link arms with them. It's been such a difficult time with, you know, I think you know where I'm going with that.
Yes. I have reached out to a lot of not-for-profit organisations that work in the child safety industry, and I was so excited. The fact that I'm Australian, I've developed a product in Australia, and then reaching out to them like, let's work together so we could get this out. I mean, their reach, I can't remember like at the top of my head, but I think it was like 25,000. I mean, notifying those 25,000 people that they have on their social media that an Australian mum has created this product.
And they have an option to come in on it.
Yes, correct. And just notify. I didn't even ask for any funding. I just wanted to work together so we could get it out there and sort of make it even better where it's at and work together. And they won't support. So not-for-profits, after that I kind of go, oh, well, I don't understand why. Like, it's not like we're competition. I mean, they go to schools and educate and instruct the parents where the risks are. And I have got this app that if a parent was to ask, like, what do I do for my children to, you know, help them?
How can I help them?
Yeah, and it's just a recommendation. But, yeah, it's just plain flat, no, we won't support you.
We'll recommend a restaurant like the drop of a hat, won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
but a lot of the not-for-profits, and sadly I've dealt with many of them here in WA.
Yeah.
Look, they're very interested in just making sure they get their funding for the next year. Really, they are, and they don't. I mean, there's organisations out there. Look, White Ribbon would be the great example here. Okay, what a dishonest organisation. I know it has new owners now, but I find that questionable in itself. But okay, an organisation out there, you really think you're helping? In that case, women who really needed help. Okay, and not one single penny went to actually helping the women. It all went to administration. It all went to education. No, it didn't. It goes to paying CEOs, $1.3 million, yada yada.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there is an industry in itself there of just living for that government to suck off the government teat. Now, the government teat is our money. It's taxpayer money. It's not free money. It's taxpayer money. So I would like it to be spent in a productive way. I've seen Anglicare, Relationships Australia, two organisations that do a lot of damage, to be absolutely frank. Headspace, one that specialises in children, right? Mental health for children particularly. Disgraceful organisation, okay? And I don't care. They can come back on me. I see what they do and I think to myself, wow, you've got such an opportunity here and something so important. And again, I'll rerouted it because I think what you're doing is so important because it gets in early.
Yeah.
Let's stop putting Band-Aids on things. Let's stop repairing the damage. And how about we do things that stops the damage from happening in the first place?
So, Maggie, you think social media bans are a temporary solution then?
Look, I honestly think that we are going about this the wrong way because let's assume they go on there at 16. We're still going to have issues. They're not educated from a young age on how to navigate the difference between right and wrong. So we're still going to find that problem later. At the moment, the big focus is on the big major tech companies, so Meta, X, all these ones. But you've got to remember, we've probably got hundreds of other apps that are out there that's going to be the next best thing, the next Meta, that they're going to go on to communicate. Yeah. And again, what are we going to do? Find another legislation to add another app?
So how are they planning to police it? Are they planning to make kids have to put up digital ID to show their age? Is that the deal?
Look, none of us have specifics. No. And honestly, from my understanding, this has been tried to roll out internationally before and it failed. Going down the digital ID, it poses a huge risk, I believe, as far as our data.
I'm sorry, but pedophilia as well.
Yeah.
Digital ID, all that sort of stuff is just open slather for them.
Yeah.
In what way, Leanne?
Because it's accessible. Everything's accessible. Everything's online. They can actually see who these children are.
Yeah.
They've got their names, their date of birth.
They have. And okay, there's data breaches left, right and centre.
Yeah.
You know, and this happens at government level constantly. And if we're giving a digital ID, and that's what everyone will need one, okay, man, woman and child will need one to be able to stay on social media. I know that they're talking about backdating, all that kind of. But, okay, this is just... We have a right to privacy, okay? It's not a privilege, it's a right. We also have a right to protect our children. And this is just a Trojan horse, is a very, very fake way, because we all love our kids, right? Okay, and all the great regimes in the past have used the kids, you know, as a way, you know, that great protection of our children, as a way to introduce policies that aren't really particularly freedom-based, we'll call it that, right?
Yeah.
So this is what this is. But let's look at the real problem. Okay, let's look at the fact that let's protect our kids, but let's find practical ways that aren't Trojan horses.
And this is a really good practical.
Yeah, no,
way,
I know.
Right?
This is why I'm just.
This is the bomb, everyone.
It would be good for Maggie to let us know about the awards that she's won.
Yeah,
Sorry,
well,
it looks like you're still speaking.
Yeah, no, I am.
Still got the hand there.
Going to tell you. But okay, before.
This whole show is
No. I will. Okay, earlier it was said something along the lines of about the fact that when you went out with testing, kids said, "Oh, they didn't like it."
Yes.
Okay. Right now, if that were the case, let's work life on that principle.
Yeah.
If you said to your kids, "Oh, well, if you don't like it, well, okay, you don't have to do it," then they'd eat McDonald's for dinner every single night. Okay. Kids can't make that decision for themselves, right? You have to be a parent and actually step up and make those decisions based on, you know, your lifestyle, your beliefs, your ethics. It could be your religion, all sorts of things, right?
Yeah.
But you know, if you gave it to them, as I say, they'd have Maccas and ice cream.
But that's what Maggie was saying. They want to be friends with their kids.
Well,
they don't want to be parents.
I 1,000% agree.
Yeah.
So,
and you can be friends with your kids when they're older, but not when they're younger.
Thoroughly agree. So, as far as awards and so forth, what are we talking about there?
Oh, yes. So just recently I won first place for Female Founders Pitch Night at the We Are Emerson pitch.
Right.
It was one of the most amazing experiences to win, just to be in the room with so many wonderful women who have got great businesses and were just really encouraging towards each other because, to be honest with you, being a startup business, being female and in tech, I have everything, how can I describe it, in a disadvantage in a way. But what is a disadvantage?
I'll be quiet on this one because I know how I feel about it.
Oh, Aaron's going to be quiet.
I mean,
now we know how to make
female
it quiet.
business in tech.
I may even turn my mic off.
That.
Hang on.
Think about that.
It's a good idea. We put the guest next to him.
I know.
If we were next to him, we could pinch him.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I mean, it's a known fact that females are less likely to get funding when it comes to businesses.
Right.
Statistically, it has been shown in very high numbers.
Oh, that's because we don't have such good ideas.
Look, if you're going to say it.
It's really,
I'm joking. Hello.
It's really sad. I mean, there's so many wonderful females who are doing amazing things.
I agree.
And we're not getting the funding and the recognition that we deserve, really. On top of that, being female and in tech, another double whammy, I guess, because it's usually the males who are in the tech industry. Startup. Again, yes.
Another big whammy.
So, yeah, it's obviously getting it out there, the recognition.
I just want to give Aaron a little bit of perspective on this tech thing. So I have a friend, and I'm not going to call him out, just in case he's watching, who was a startup in a tech business, did very well, brilliant mind, brilliant young man. And I went up to him and I said, I've got a friend. This is her thing. It was just...
I was a prototype. I hadn't started.
You hadn't even started. It was a prototype.
I do remember. Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And I went and had a meeting with him. Hadn't seen him for a couple of years. We worked together previously, and I went and saw him, and he's up in these big fancy offices in Perth. And I said, wow, this is, what a way. You've come a long way.
Yeah.
And he said, tell her to get out.
Whoa. Okay.
He said it's not going to anything like that. That just won't. It won't gel.
That is really sad to hear.
Yeah. So,
but he's just a messenger, isn't he?
He was. He said, and because I said it to him. I said, oh, okay, I'll let her know, but I'm pretty sure she's going to go full steam ahead with it. And he goes, it's going to be really hard for her.
I'm glad you didn't listen. There you go. Great advice.
Same. If you're watching,
and the great advice to anyone who is the naysayers, right, is the fact is the more people who tell you not to do it, riles you up and off you go, right?
Yeah.
Use it as fuel.
Yesterday, because of that win, you were at another bigger function.
Yes, I was actually pitching, which is means just presenting your business proposal on how it works to anyone in the audience. And there could be investors, there could be people in government, it could be anyone in education, and really getting an ask at the end as to what you need. And in my case, I wanted collaborations, I wanted investors to liaise with the actual same, align with the same values. And I won second place. I would say, that would be second place. Fantastic. It was the Entrepreneurials Award.
Okay, fantastic.
And guess who was there?
He was there.
There you
no
go. Names, but he was there.
That is fantastic. Well, congratulations.
Thank
That's very
you.
cool.
Yeah.
Normally I'd pull a Mickey and say, second is first loser, but you've done well.
Honestly.
I'm a very competitive person.
Yeah.
No, I joke. I totally jest. That is a fantastic thing, and I'm very, very. You must be immensely proud.
Oh yes, I won the +8 Accelerator boot camp.
Yeah.
Yep.
And +8's quite well known.
You're very well known over here in WA. So being part of that, I heard it's very intensive. So I am very prepared for what comes out of it. But just being there, being able to deliver my product from someone who has not done public speaking before.
I know.
I only just started.
You're smashing it.
Just being able to get my product out there, getting people to understand how it works, because it is a simple way for us to really be more involved in people's online, or our children's online world.
Yep.
But on top of that, something else I haven't mentioned about the product is a parent is able to add a couple of digits of a bank account or credit card, because teens,
yes, they do.
Yeah, they're following our influencers quite a lot. I know with my teens, they're going on about Temu and Shein, and they're wanting these packages, and they're really excessively spending.
Okay.
And I'm not quite aware of how much they're spending. I just see these parcels coming, but because I've got the app and I've got 4 digits of their bank account, if they go ahead after the alert, I will see the digits so that I can also monitor their online spending.
Yes.
Because it's getting out of control to keep up with trends.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right.
And there's also kids that actually go and grab mum's card.
Correct.
I know
Very
people
true.
that have that happen.
Not the cigarettes.
Not the cigarettes, it's the credit card
like the
these
old
days.
Now we're running low on time, so sorry.
Sorry.
Look at that. So a couple of questions have popped up, and I'd love for you to me talk too much. Come on, I could talk underwater. Let's be honest. So look, some great questions coming up. Let's have a bit of quick little squiz. So we've got one here. There we go. Bring that up on the screen.
Yep.
Here we go. There we go. Maggie, what advice would you give to parents who are looking for ways to address digital safety concerns? Well, you've covered that very well. I probably just took too long to get it on the screen, to be frank.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yoochooz.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does open up communication barriers between parents and children, and we are lacking that in today's world. We need the children to know that the parents are there, guiding them in the right direction. And with Yoochooz, you're able to monitor, as you can switch off our profanity list and have your own list there, depending on the age level of your child. Go for your life as to what you want to include in there. Also, the other thing we do is scan the camera library for things such as nudity, partial nudity, drug use, and violence, because they're storing these things in the camera library. They're you know, time will go on, and it could be of another child that was traumatized a couple of years ago, not knowing that this is stored, and they could reach an age that it could be, you know, considered inappropriate to have a picture of a minor when you've reached a certain age, and it'd be illegal. So we're wanting to get this off the devices as soon as possible, so that those photos of children are not circulating anymore. The great thing is, we don't store anything about the photos. We don't share it with the parents. We just notify them. Like, for example, if they're taking a photo of a swimsuit, and I've tested this on my daughter's phone, it'll say bikini notified, partial breasts exposed. So I'm able to look at the photo and go, is this appropriate? Because pornography is huge.
Yes,
you know,
massive.
Huge drama. It's a real problem.
It is.
And it's damaging children's minds.
It is.
Really is. There's a lot of science behind it.
So how much? Sorry. I was just going to ask how much it is.
So it's $5.99 a month.
Wow.
For one device. Yep. Australian dollars.
That's a bargain.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Like, I think a coffee costs less than that most places.
More than that.
More than that.
More than that, yeah. And then it's $9.99 for up to 5 devices.
Okay.
$10 a month for your child's safety.
Yeah.
Okay, and how do people get in contact with you, and how do they sign up?
Yep. So you can reach me on Facebook, on Instagram, through the Yoochooz apps. Like, we've got the social media.
Do you want to spell Yoochooz out for us?
Yes,
it's YOOCHOOZ.
And is it yoochooz.com.au or just .com?
.com.au.
.com.au. Yoochooz.
I think we've already put it in the comments anyway.
That's okay. But people might not read, and they may hear.
That is very true.
You never know.
Yeah, that is very true.
G'day to Josh. Great for you to stop by, mate. I hope you got something from this. You know, keeping the kiddies safe. Really a great pleasure to have you here.
Really,
and I'm so, I don't know what the word, I keep thinking I want to say I'm proud of you. That's the dumbest thing ever. But I mean,
we're just, proud of you, Maggie.
So proud of you, but it's such an important thing. I've seen the damage, right?
Yes.
So for me, like, it's a little bit personal. So it's a lot personal.
Yes, it is.
And so when I see someone who's actively,
$6 a month is nothing, is it?
Bam.
You'd be on to it.
I would
right
be. Well,
away.
I used to have 6 kids, so I'd need the
$10 a month.
I'd have to have two of the $10 ones. And there's a device everywhere, so away you go. But yeah, I've seen the damage it can do, and I think I would rather stop children from being broken than repair the damage of afterwards.
100%.
Yeah, and we live in an era where the damage is so easy and so prevalent, and there are so many horrible, evil people out there.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds whatever to say that.
It is,
but it's just
huge.
a fact. You know,
massive.
It's a massive problem.
Underground.
Done. So I think we'll end the show. Would you lovely ladies like to say anything? Specifically before.
Thank you for watching, everybody.
Yep.
It's such a really important topic. Leanne and I have known Maggie for a few years. We met through the World Wide Awake Business Network, and we're just really proud to be associated with her. And I think it just takes enormous courage to be doing what you're doing. And I hope more people will jump on board. If you're watching and you're a potential investor, please reach out and let Maggie know, because this has got the potential to be huge. And what really frustrates me is so many people to sit back and wait until it is huge, but they don't want to invest.
Yeah.
Think of this as Bitcoin 10 years ago.
Get on board.
Absolutely.
All right, that's the end of the show. It's One Thing here on Edge Radio Australia.
Thank you for watching.
Thank